It was just past midnight when Ethan heard the knock. At first, he thought he had imagined it. The night was quiet, too quiet for his liking. His small rented cabin sat at the edge of the woods, far away from town. He had chosen this place for solitude, for the silence he thought would help him finish his writing project. But silence can play tricks on the mind. The knock came again. 3 sharp taps. Knock, knock, knock. Ethan froze. His laptop screen glowed in the dark, the cursor blinking as if waiting for him to type. He stared at the front door. He wasn't expecting anyone. No one even knew he was here. He told himself it was probably nothing. Maybe the wind. Maybe an animal brushing against the door. He tried to return to his work, but the thought clung to him like a shadow. What if someone really is out there? Finally, curiosity won. He stood, padded quietly across the creaky floorboards, and approached the door. He hesitated, then pulled it open. The night greeted him with silence. The porch light flickered once, then steadied, throwing a weak circle of light across the steps. No one was there. Ethan's chest tightened. He looked left, then right. Just trees swaying in the midnight breeze. He stepped out onto the porch, the wood cold under his bare feet. Still nothing. Shaking his head, he laughed nervously to himself. Get a grip. You're hearing things. He shut the door, locked it, and went back to his desk. But 20 minutes later, the knock came again. Louder this time, more insistent. Knock, knock, knock. Ethan's blood ran cold. He didn't move at first. He just sat there, staring at the door, his heartbeat pounding in his ears. Summoning his courage, he grabbed the heavy flashlight from his desk and crept toward the entrance. He waited, listening. Silence. With one quick motion, he flung the door open. Again, no one. But this time, he noticed something he hadn't before. A single muddy footprint on the porch, and it was pointing inward, toward the cabin. Ethan's stomach turned. He quickly backed inside, slamming the door shut and sliding the deadbolt into place. His mind raced. Was someone messing with him? A prank? But who? No one knew about this cabin. He hadn't told his friends, and the nearest neighbor was 2 miles away. He tried to calm himself, pacing back and forth. He decided to stay awake until morning. No sleep tonight. The hours dragged on. He tried reading. He tried working. But every creak of the house made him jump. Then, at 3 a.m., the sound came again. Not a knock this time. A whisper, from just outside the door. Let me in. Ethan's heart stopped. He stood frozen, barely breathing. The whisper came again, longer this time, almost pleading. Let me in. His throat was dry. He couldn't speak, couldn't even think. He backed away slowly, step by step, until his legs hit the edge of the couch. The knocking started again, violent, furious, rattling the whole door on its hinges. Bang, bang, bang! Ethan snapped out of his trance. He darted to the kitchen, grabbed the biggest knife he could find, and clutched it in shaking hands. And then, silence. Just as quickly as it had begun, the noise stopped. For a long time, Ethan didn't move. He stood there in the kitchen listening to the sound of his own ragged breathing. The clock ticked on the wall. Minutes passed, maybe hours. He couldn't tell anymore. Finally, he worked up the courage to peek out the window. Slowly, he pulled back the curtain. Nothing. He exhaled shakily. Maybe it was over. Maybe... That's when he saw it. On the glass, right where his face had been, A handprint, but it was on the inside. Ethan stumbled backward, dropping the knife. His eyes darted around the room, searching every shadow. He knew then, whatever had been knocking wasn't outside anymore. It was in the house. The cabin seemed to grow colder, the air pressing against his skin like ice. He could almost feel something watching him, standing just beyond the edge of the light. He bolted for the bedroom, slamming the door and locking it. His hands shook as he pushed a dresser in front of it, building a desperate barricade. He sat on the floor, knees pulled to his chest, knife back in his grip. He tried to stay calm, tried to listen. At first, there was nothing, just silence. Then came the sound. A slow, deliberate drag of footsteps across the wooden floor outside his room. Step, 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 each one closer than the last. They stopped right outside his door. Ethan held his breath. His heart hammered so loudly he was afraid it would give him away. For what felt like forever, nothing happened. And then, 3 soft knocks on the bedroom door. Knock, knock, knock. Let me in. When the sun finally rose, the neighbors found the cabin door wide open. Ethan was gone. The only trace left behind was a trail of muddy footprints leading from the front porch to the bedroom, and then stopping in the middle of the floor, as if whoever left them had simply vanished. What about you? If someone knocked on your door at midnight and no one was there, would you open it? Comment below if anything like this has ever happened to you, or if you dare to answer the knock.